tarde and bon dia. Tudo bem, amigos? Welcome to panelists and to the moderator and to the Mosefo 2017 participants, to the CPTM Smart Partners Hub in London. CPTM is Commonwealth Partnership for Technology Management, which formed over the years Smart Partnership Movement. And the Smart Partnership Movement is connected with a manifesto which emerged since 1997 on limitless opportunities through smart partnership and through the limitless opportunities of technology. Mozambique is one of the 52 countries and others outside the Commonwealth that promoted and is a founder of Smart Partnership Movement, as well as CPTM. Mozambique is part of Luciform countries, but first of all, for CPTM Smart Partners is a founder, a joint founder of Smart Partnership Movement. In 2000, in Maputo, although a disastrous flood hit Mozambique, by August, a Smart Partnership village welcomed all the Smart Partnership Movement. And Mozambique since then became a point of reference, both in a national context and international, for the national visioning, for the way the disastrous floods and the recovery took place, for the launch of the innovation movement, among many others. But above all, the Smart Partnership Movement owes Mozambique for giving in 2000 a physical manifestation to what smart partnership is all about. And His Excellency President Chissano at that time was able, through what I thought was simply a physics and chemistry symbol, which I brought to him, which is a buckyball, a carbon-60, which was at that time a new material, which with many applications that came after that, carbon fibers, etc. Now what His Excellency explained to Smart Partners in Maputo was that this is a network formed of cells and nodes and relationships. And if you add a globe, a transparent globe, then the objective, the mission and the vision of all the CPTM Smart Partners members in 52 countries, and at the country level itself, is to achieve a smart partnership growth and inclusive development. Many applications took place since 2000, about 20 or so smart partnership dialogues to promote and influence internationally and nationally. In 2013, Tanzania, His Excellency President Kikwete at that time, he built on the Maputo 2000. And he raised again the issue of technology and limitless opportunity through the theme and the focus on leveraging technology for socio-economic transformation through smart partnership. And since then, 2013, we are in 2017 now, 6 strong, unique, leading, inclusive initiatives have emerged within the CPTM Smart Partnership Movement in 52 countries and beyond. Those were particularly stimulated and catalyzed by the emerging digital landscape, the emerging need for understanding the value of data. Today, the Mozambique Central Bank Governor, Central Bank itself, Bureau of Standards, national statistics offices, and all those engaged in digital technologies are part and parcel of what has been articulated as a smart partnership movement overall strategy for achieving inclusive growth through the operatives of the networks led by those involved in the initiatives, under the theme leveraging the value of data and knowledge through the new adaptive flexibility approaches and networks based on smart partnership. It is a most unexpected development, although everybody knew since about 20 years ago that the smart partnership philosophy and practice brings together individuals and share knowledge and experiences in a way that intellectual equity is being built, which everybody owns. And this is what CPTM and Smart Partnership Movement is all about. And this is also due to the Mozambican contribution in many ways. I chose, based on advice from all the smart partners and leading promoters of different initiatives and implementers, I chose financial inclusion, the central bank governance initiative, to make explicit in addition to a new emerging one. Financial inclusion, led by governors in about 20 countries or so in the Commonwealth, emerged about 15 years ago. But in the last 7 years or so, more and more preoccupation has been given to the understanding of the implications of the digital landscape, and lately the impact of data. Just to quote the recommendations that the Central Bank Governors Group of Smart Partners made and presented, shared, and they were adopted at the Commonwealth Central Bank Governors meeting in October 2017 in Washington. Their undertaking was to share their experiences of innovative financial inclusion through the CPTM think tanking and evolving strategic functions of central banks as a result of impact of digital technology. To engage with and assess the potential advantages provided by fintech developments, including blockchain, distributed ledger technology, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. To share the knowledge on cryptocurrency, the use of DLT, and how this innovative technology may eliminate the need for corresponding banking. To continue to watch the application of data technology in the context of trade and finance, provenance, supply, financial trading, and insurance and regulations. And specifically, to seek support to monitor fintech developments in their own context, while they attend to their duty to minimize the risks involved for their citizens. To work closely with national statistics offices regarding the new data analytics, providing speedy and qualitative information for better decision making. To interact and seek updates from national standards organizations regarding the emerging new international standards organizations related to blockchain technology, as well as any other relevant standards developed by ITU in the context of digital financial services. In this context, CPTM inclusion initiatives, both in relation to quality and standards and national statistics offices, are closely required to work with the central bank governors. Above all, the central bank governors recommended to initiate a special role and to allocate effort in participating in the national visioning in each country and securing the state with specific focus on cybersecurity in the context of central banks. To adopt the strategic framework of the CPTM Smart Partnership movement emerged from their own rooted real-time experiences on leveraging the value of knowledge and data. To forward and to share their own understanding and experiences based on their findings with the Commonwealth Ministers of Trade and heads of government who are going to meet at their Commonwealth Summit, Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in April 2018. These are simply a few of the latest recommendations alongside all the other 6 network initiatives recommendations which overlap and merge with the central bank governance. If one takes the catalytic effect of these operative networks in a national context, then one could imagine the catalytic, inclusive growth and sustainable growth that could be achieved. But more than that, there is a need, and there was a big recognition important recognition in the last few years by the central bank governors and everybody else, that new national frameworks are required to be allowed to emerge and which are adapted and stimulated by the applications of data and digital technologies. Therefore, the national security, for instance, requires to be adapted to a modern model of security as it was discussed in detail, not just at the level of cybersecurity, but a national security, due to the digitization of everyday preoccupation. The old security model was left to companies, individuals, or to national security frameworks. It was recognized that in today's digital world, these domestic and external models of security need to merge and they become overlapping. National security has to be a concern for central banks, and the banking and finance as a critical infrastructure has to be of concern to those responsible for national security. And this is valid both for less advanced countries as well as for developed countries. So, in short, there is a very great need for recognizing and giving it all the support to the emerging strategic role of the interdependence and interconnections between operative institutions who are themselves adapting to a flexible approach due to the impact of digital technologies. We like Mozambique and Mozefo specifically to become a point of reference in Southern Africa, within Mozambique, of the emerging national strategy for inclusive growth in the context of digital landscape. For that, a lot of think tanking needs to take place in addition to operative implementable kind of tasks and iterative tasks, and reflections of the kind that smart partnership think tanking and smart partnership dialogues promoted since 1995 under the umbrella of networking people and ideas. There are many questions raised, questions about the rise of the knowledge commons in the digital landscape as different from the physical commons, and the difference between the physical commons, which is the overuse, and the knowledge commons, which is under production. There is a very great importance of paying attention to the paradox of a smart world. There is a striking imbalance between smartness of the tools, machine learning, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, who surround all our institutions, and the more limited smartness of the results. And the question is why? And most of the attention is given to the outdated inertia type of business models, national, traditional infrastructures, both government, universities, banks, etc. Above all, and that's the final point, the most important issue to pay attention to, which is one of our lessons which emerged in the last 20 years, is about understanding networks of people, insights from network theory, which will assist in developing new, adaptive, flexible, strategic approaches and new institutions fit for data and digital landscape. And finally, one of the insights that is preoccupying the CPTM Smart Partnership movement is that, and there was about 2 weeks ago get together at the CPTM Smart Partners Hub about it, was that the recognition that networks are networking. That means they are continuously emerging new patterns, so you can't stagnate. You have to follow continuously and observe the pulse. You have to spot the signals. Networks never sleep. They are emerging complex interactions which requires to be observed. Networks on their own, there is a thought that hierarchies are not networks. Not true. There are networks within hierarchies, and there are networks as networks. Networks as networks only, they are vulnerable. They are not strategic, but they have a formidable catalytic effect and of renewal and transformation. So there is a lot of work to do, as usual, within the Smart Partnership movement, within the context of Mozambique, and particularly Mosefo 17, but probably a hint to what might have to be Mosefo 18, because the Smart Partnership CPTM initiatives are not owned by CPTM. They are owned by each individual country within its own context, its own political dynamics. So, continuemos, and nos vemos in Mozambique, Maputo in 2018. All the best from the CPTM Smart Partners Hub and Smart Partnership movement as a whole.